Good afternoon, I'm Shane Masters with the Midday News. Special welcome if you're watching on onespotmedia.com. Culture Minister Olivia Grange says challenges in determining how and to whom money in a trust fund should be shared among survivors of a 1963 Coral Gardens incident has caused the hold-up in compensating them. Ms. Grange provided an explanation for the delay in a media release today. The survivors have expressed frustration with the slow pace of disbursements from the trust fund. Ms. Grange says $12 million is in the trust fund, which is in the care of the Administrator General's Department. She says the Office of the Public Defender, which conducted a comprehensive survey of the socio-economic and living conditions of the survivors, said it was unable to find a yardstick by which to recommend individual monetary compensation. As a result, Ms. Green says the issue of a fair mechanism to determine compensation continues to occupy the Ministry's attention in light of the conclusion of the public defender. The Minister says she is determined to expedite the process so the survivors will not have to wait much longer. The Coral Gardens incident refers to a series of events that occurred in Jamaica from April 11 to 13, 1963. Following a violent altercation at a gas station in Montego Bay, St. James, there was a massive state crackdown against Rastafarians. Head of the National Integrity Action NIA, Professor Trevor Monroe, says more Jamaicans are joining the crime fight. He pointed to the number of persons calling Crime Stop as proof of citizens' willingness to help end criminality. He was speaking at a youth function in St. Andrew on Tuesday.
That's being used more now than in previous years. And I can tell you that in the first 6 months of 2019, the average number of calls into Crime Stop was approximately 3 to 4 per day. And arising from those tips, in the first 6 months of 2019, almost 5 million Jamaican dollars have been paid out in rewards to those who have provided information. Dozens of illegal weapons have been seized and arrests made. So don't want to put yourself at risk, but you want to help to deal with the violence, there's that facility.
Opposition spokesman on national security Fitz Jackson is renewing his calls for the government to implement social intervention programs in areas where states of emergency are declared. Speaking with our news team recently, Mr. Jackson said residents are concerned about what will happen after the states of emergency are lifted.
If you create a safer space with the state of emergency where you suspend basic rights and freedom of the citizens, you must put in place steps to prevent the situation from going back to where it was. So they need to come with a menu of social intervention measures that they contemplate during the period.
The most recent state of emergency was declared on September 5 for 14 days. On Tuesday, the government asked the House of Representatives for a 3-month extension, but only got approval for an extension to October 19. Before that deadline, stakeholders will discuss the matter and assess if a further extension is needed. General Secretary of the Union of Clerical, Administrative and Supervisory Employees UCASE, John Levy, says he would be cautious in supporting a forensic audit at the Petroleum Corporation of Jamaica, PCJ. His comment follows Tuesday's call by opposition spokesperson on energy Philip Paulwell in the House of Representatives for the special audit before the PCJ is subsumed in the Energy Ministry. Mr. Levy says there is nothing to suggest that a special audit is needed.
I expect an audit to be done in the normal course of the operations, and at whatever point in time certain decisions are made, then you will have to audit up to that point. And what we want is for them to keep the books intact together safely. That those things will be examined and a report provided. That this is public business, this is not any private arrangement of anybody. This is the public first, so we expect that the responsible action is taken. But as I said, Mr. Paul will maybe have information, and based on his information, he's making certain requests, which we wouldn't want to make that kind of pronouncement at this stage without having more information.
The union represents several categories of workers at the PCJ. He expects to hear officially this week from the government on the impending closure of the entity and the implications for staff. Bermuda is expected to continue to feel some leftover winds Thursday as Hurricane Humberto keeps moving further into the Atlantic. The Category 3 storm is moving at 120 miles per hour with 120 mile per hour winds left more than 27,000 people without power. But according to the National Hurricane Center, Humberto won't be a hurricane much longer. It's expected to weaken Thursday and become a post-tropical cyclone by Friday. Following the storm, the Bermuda Fire and Rescue Service reported 17 minor incidents, including gas leaks, 9 medical incidents, and 3 structural fires that they say were not serious. We now take a break here on the Midday News, but stay with us. More stories after these messages. Welcome back, continuing the news. There are calls for the Ministry of Health to step up its vector control activities in sections of Manchester. It comes as residents in Somerset, Manchester say the mosquito population has increased significantly. TVJ's Kirkwright reports.
The Southern Regional Health Authority, SARA, is reporting that there is an increase in the number of dengue cases in Manchester. This despite additional temporary workers being employed by SARA to do vector control.
From January up to now, we are seeing about 1,042 suspected cases compared to last year around the same time, about 89. So we are seeing an increase in the number of suspected cases. But for Manchester in particular, there are about 557 suspected compared with about 30 last year.
While giving these figures, Regional Technical Director of the SARA, Dr. Vitalis Reed Holder, says the residents should not be alarmed as adequate measures have been put in place to deal with the influx in these cases.
So the numbers are higher than that we saw last year. But we continue to ensure that our healthcare facilities are aware of the situation, and we continue to empower our clinicians to know that, hey, remember, dengue is of concern to us.
She further says it's normal for Manchester to have an increase in dengue cases during the months of August and September due to increased rainfall. However, she says the health ministry is trying to ascertain whether or not they are able to do the requisite investigations for complications of dengue and making sure that adequate medications are present. Dr. Reed Holder told TVJ News that even with the increased cases of the disease, the health facilities are able to manage the cases they get. In the meantime, residents in Somerset, Manchester are calling for more attention to be given to their community. They told TVJ News that the mosquito population has grown significantly in that area.
We can't manage it, man. Mosquito more than we. Right now, a 3 person when we know of in this community where dengue, and there are more women who know of. Right now, my wife at home, she have dengue. She can't get to go to work. She go to doctor yesterday, a dengue. So we need a place to spray.
The fogging that we would also have will be guided by what we find from these high cases, as well as if we are having cases being reported or people are complaining. So we have a strategy that we're going out and we're looking for and we're treating as we go along.
They're also calling on the Health Minister, Dr. Christopher Tufton, to provide more information on the Aedes aegypti mosquito.
Well, we take all the advice. You say if you use repellent, we buy repellent. We buy spray, we spray out the house. We do everything like that. But them your mosquito, your brother, they come in like say, when you spray, the mosquito come like they duck. Yeah. And after a while, they come up back. You look like they're not dead. And then me want you tell you where the mosquito come from too. If these mosquito are lab-made mosquito, where they make to destroy black people, or the mosquito is a mosquito where just come by nature. We want to know where the mosquito come from, since we never have them before.
Kirkwright, TVJ News.
The Ministry of Education says the Tablet in Schools program should be up and ready by early next year. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Education, Dr. Grace McLean, told the media recently at a press conference that they encountered some challenges which caused the tablet program to be stalled. Dr. McLean says when they started the development of the primary schools program about a year ago, they had projected for 15,000 tablets to be provided for over 200 schools.
Unfortunately, there is a delay, and the executive directors advised me that they are now taking the necessary steps to ensure that these tablets are out in the schools for January 2020. We have started the training of the teachers, our regional officers, including led by Mr. Brown. They have been retrofitting the storage areas within our primary schools and making them ready. We are also upgrading the electrical systems in these schools so that once the tablets become available, which will be provided in carts for easy movement at the primary level, then we will be ready to go. So we look forward to January 2020 for the rollout of this program.
80 extension officers have been certified in financial literacy and enterprise development under the Rural Agricultural Development Authority, RADA. The initiative is a collaboration between RADA and the Commonwealth of Learning, COL. Chief Executive Officer at RADA, Peter Thompson, said that the move is in an effort to improve the agriculture sector.
In keeping with one of the strategic directions, which is to enhance agricultural services delivery through a responsive and modern agricultural extension service, the Rural Agricultural Development Authority has in recent years repositioned itself to meet the growing needs and demand of the farming population in Jamaica.
The first pilot project was conducted in 2017, where 20 extension officers were certified. The total cost of the project is valued at $3,000 Canadian dollars. Mr. Thompson said e-learning portals were used to facilitate the training process.
That has the ability for you to enter it from any location once you have internet access. And this is where we are going, Mrs. Phillips. We have to be au fait with the technology and with the time. The course was delivered over an 8-week period with sessions starting from 9 a.m. to 12 noon. Several techniques were used to maximize the effectiveness of the online delivery.
News now in sports. The Jamaica Tallawahs are on the brink of elimination from the Caribbean Premier League after their 5th defeat in 6 games, going down to the Guyana Amazon Warriors by 81 runs at Savannah Park on Wednesday night. Batting first, the Warriors became the 3rd team to score over 200 runs against the Tallawahs this season as they posted 218 for 6. Captain Shoaib Malik led the way with an unbeaten 67, while Jamaican Brandon King made 59 and Shimron Hetmar 44. Jade Dernbach 2 for 50 and Andre Russell 2 for 35 were the best of another poor bowling effort from the hosts. In their time at the crease, the Jamaican franchise folded for 137 with 40 each for Russell and Glenn Phillips. From there, only Chadwick Walton 15 and Dernbach 12 got to double figures. Kemo Paul had 3 for 34 with 2 wickets apiece from Imran Tahir and Key Ahmed. The Tallawahs will complete their home leg this evening against St. Kitts and Nevis Patriots. And that's the Midday News. I'm Shane Masters. Join us at 7 for Primetime News. On behalf of the news, sports and production teams, good afternoon.